Louise with louisemckayart. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here, and I'm doing another paint skin today for another different type of charcuterie board that, you know, truth be told, here in Asheville, we have so much wood. I'm using some actual real wood that's cut down, and going to use that as a basis for a charcuterie board. I haven't worked on live wood that's been sitting around, and we'll see how it goes. I'll flash up on my I'll flash up in here the board that I'll be working on. I'm still working on preparing it right now. So with that being said, I've got a color combination that I've worked in different ways, and for this I want to try doing it with 6 colors and make a bloom and see how this works. Now, if this works out really well, I'm going to do a Lazy Susan with it as well. All right, so let's get started here. So I've got I'm getting almost out of my pillow paint. I need to get to Home Depot. I got my PPG Multi Pro 47-3110. I don't do anything to prepare this. I don't add anything. I don't even stir it up. Once I decant it, get it in here, that's all I go with. I'm going a little bit more oblong. Just want to hold this down. I've had these silicone mats fly off before, or at least start to fly. Actually, I want to go that way a little bit with this. Okay. All right, that's good. Even though it doesn't look like I'm centered, I'm pretty good. All right, colors. DecoArt Aloe. Pretty basic looking color, but I'll tell you what, like I've mentioned in the videos, it's not the individual color, it's how they play all together. I'm taking my yellow cell activator out of the lineup this time. I'm just going to go with black. Putting the Amsterdam Titan Buff back in. The Titan Buff Deep. But I add a little bit, not a whole lot, just a little dabber. Just a little dip. Okay, that was not the way I wanted to dab it on. That was a drip. I'm going to just kind of drizzle, a little drizzle. That's enough. I don't have my paints opened up. Quinacridone, Nicolazo Gold, and Zeus combination. Another dribble. People have asked me what the alternative is for this. People have asked what the alternative is for this color, and I don't remember. So just go to the Golden's website and look up what's the replacement for Nicolazo Gold. 24 karat gold by DecoArt. Extreme Sheen plus Golden's Iridescent Gold. TriArt. Carbon Black. Now, I'm telling you, I've made some of these creations with this TriArt. This has got sheen to it. It must be some kind of semi-gloss or something. It is got some life in it when it dries. It dries with some vim and vigor. This last color, which is Amsterdam's Olive Green Deep. My consistency I shoot for about 2 to 3 second trace. These are a little bit on the thicker side because I've had them sitting around for a little while. I do like to always drizzle. I've mentioned this before, but I think it helps the colors just kind of basket weave between each other as they're spreading out and commingling. All right, my cell activator. And just so you know, this is Australian Floetrol cell activator. It's oxide black from Amsterdam, and I show how I mix it up in my last video, which is $4.99. I'll link it above. All right. You don't need a lot. I've had people send me pictures, and some people, the thinking is, I think the tendency, the instinct is to add a lot. You only need about sorry for my mitten, my glove here. You only need about a fingertip. You watch. Just a little one. Little dab. That's about it. So as I go about blowing this out, I always blow straight down into the cell activator to get it to start to open up the paints a little bit, and then I blow where the little ridge forms where the cell activator meets the paints. If you want to see a very good video about how I blow out the cell activator, it's video 419. I call it the art of the blow, and I show how you blow with your speed and the angle and a lot of tidbits on how to find your blow in the first place. So now that I have it blown out, I'm going to add some pillow paint around the circumference of the blowout to make sure that when I get ready to spin, the composition will have some paint to flow onto as I spin this out and it starts to stretch. So obviously I'm going on fast speed through this, but I just want to show you what I do just to add the pillow so that the paint has a place to go as we get ready to spin. And I'll be back here in about a second. Stop with that. I gotta be careful. I'm gonna run out of paint. Let's get this thing to stretch out. And just so you know, in my usual fashion, as I go through the video, if there's opportunities to cut or speed up, I will, but you won't miss anything that's important. Don't want that to run so far. You know what? I shouldn't even say that. It's going to do what it's going to do. I need to kind of give the paint some freedom. Sometimes it knows what it's doing better than I do. You know what? Having that little lip might actually look really cool. And people have asked, why don't I just pour straight onto a board itself? And it's just a preference. I really prefer to make a paint skin, cut it out, get it exactly how I want to lay out on the board. It's a little more work, but I love the way it looks better in the end. Well, I tell you, it is hot today here. It's like in the mid-80s. It's not normal. To me, that's hot. I'm so glad I got out of California. Oh my gosh. So hot there. I mean, those summers were getting to be 100 degrees. Oh my, horrible. Okay, so we're at 7. Go a little, needs to get bigger. Need to get bigger. Since I'm taking an interlude here to measure the board itself, I just want to remind everybody to check out my description for different links to videos and some of the products that I use. It might be helpful to include a link to a 10% KS resin discount code. 8.5 or 9, or 9 or 9.5 on the other. I feel like it's running that way more. I'd like it to go this way a little more. Getting near the edge right there, so let me, a little bit of pillow. And you know what, letting it stretch out like this is going to help it dry. This skin will be dry in 4 days, which is a heck of a lot faster than if I do it straight on the board. There are so many benefits to doing it this way. It dries faster. You have a lot more control because now I can cut this out however I want to shape it to the board. It's cleaner. I'm not sitting here making a mess. I don't have to have anything taped off at this point. The only time I have to tape will be when I get ready to resin it. It's so many benefits to doing it this way. Okay, that's starting to run a little too much for me. I don't want this to keep coming this way like that. I am going to put the brakes on that one. Let's give it a little more boost there. This is a little cheat. Kind of control where it goes. Hopefully without this flying off. Let me crisscross it. There. Okay, how big is this? This is gorgeous. A little bit of delaminating in there. But you know what? That looks kind of cool. So we're at 8. I'm going to cut out most of this spin here. You get the gist. I'm factoring in cutting off the edges too, so we're at 9. That'll probably work. I think that'll be good. So this is where we are. I'll be back for the next part of this process. Okay. So here are the wet results. This is the first skin that I did with you here, and then here's the second skin. And what I did in the interim that I did not show you here is sand it down to the point where I can then apply a dark walnut wood stain, which is inset here, and then also apply a couple layers of the Varathane Triple Thick Satin Varnish, which I show you at the top left of the screen here. Hi everyone, I'm back for the actual skin application to this beautiful, beautiful wood board. Look where I've got this board. It is gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And the back's a little rough, but that's fine with me. I think that's kind of cool. Adds a little texture. I'll be putting little feet on the bottom. But what we're doing right now, we are going to put on the paint skins. And I think what I'll do is I'll show you one. So I'm going to show you this one because it's just smaller. It's easier to show, I think. So we're going to move everything over a little bit. So I've already obviously peeled it off of the silicone mat, and it's really simple. I didn't show it in this video, but if you want to see, just see any of the other videos with the charcuterie board. I show how you peel it off, or any of my art fusions. I show you how you peel the skin off the silicone mat. Very easy. Then once I get it off the mat, I cut it up. I cut it out. So basically, I end up cutting all around. I don't show you all this because it's just kind of, you know, stuff you can figure out on your own. And I cut it out to the point where I'm happy with how it's fitting and how it looks and the amount of coverage. So these are things I'm looking at as I cut it out and then lay it down. So I kind of cut it out rough, and then I lay it down, and then I fine tune it, because one of the things I look for, I want to be able to get smoothly over each edge. You don't want to be on a corner if you can avoid it, because it's hard to get around a corner. And this is interesting and different because I've never done a creation with a charcuterie with a rounded side like this, but I think it's actually going to be easier because it is rounded, and it's just going to, it should be able to adhere very nicely. So what I have is some MinWax matte varnish. You can use whatever color you want. And what I'm going to do, I've already mixed it up. Make sure you get all everything mixed up from the bottom. So now I'm just going to apply varnish to the piece, and then I'm going to apply it to the back. So let's just start here. I'm just going to randomly put it on here. Just the top, I'll cover the top. And this is going to act as my glue. And I'm also going to apply it to the skin. I don't want to go too whole hog, saturating wise, because I want to, I got to push out all the extra and I don't want it squeezing out all over the place. Okay, so we'll stop with that. Kind of get this on generally, and I'll slide it where I think I need it to go. I think that's kind of roughly where I had it. So now I got that side to get off. You want to make sure you get it fully adhered. You want to push out all the air. So I go around, I push out the air, push out the varnish, the extra. And you know what, I've learned that you can kind of rough this in at this point. It doesn't have to be perfection, because you can always come back after it's setting up, and you can always add more varnish. You can always add more to make sure that it's fully secured. Because when you go to resin it, you want to make sure that it is down and it's down, it's full. So I'm going to go on 4 times the speed here. I've covered the major points. You don't want air bubbles, you want it flat, and you want to make sure it's fully secured before you resin. And the way you do that is you just keep pushing until you get all the varnish out and all the air bubbles out, pushing to the sides and down. And then the next thing I work on, as you see here, are the sides. And sometimes you just have to add a little more varnish to it, hold the sides down until it's fully secured. And sometimes it takes about a minute to just hold it in place and just let it stick to the board. And then I work around the board, getting all sides fully secured. And I really like the look of having it fold over and wrap around the sides. I think that adds a little bit of elegance and sophistication to the look in the final result. So that's why I do it the way I do it. And it takes a little while per side, but yeah, as we go around, add a little more varnish, hold it in place until everything is secure. And I'll be back here in about 1 second. All right, so that's one done. Okay, so I'll be back when I get both of them adhered. All right, everybody, as I promised, I'm back. Here are the final attached pieces. I'll cut off any extras that are sitting on over the edge. And yeah, I'll be back to resin this probably tomorrow sometime. So I'm not going to show you the actual resining, but I am going to show you that I do use the KS Resin Liquid Stone, and I have a 10% discount in the description if you want to use it for your purchase. I also want to highlight the nice smooth finish I get on the edge of these charcuterie boards, and I want to offer a personalized tutorial if you want to see how I do it. Through trial and error, I've developed a technique that I think works really well. I haven't seen anyone else do what I do, and I would offer the video at a charge. If you were interested in looking at it, I have my email in the description if you're interested. And because this was a homemade board, I'm showing you how I'm drilling the holes for the handles. And here I'm actually inserting the screws for the handles. And here I'm just showing you briefly how I apply the food grade wood butter that I purchased off Amazon. It is food safe, and I will be applying 2 coats of this before it's fully finished. Once I apply the coat of wood butter, I will wipe it off after a couple hours. And then I'll apply another coat after that and then wipe it down, and it should be good to go. And now here she is, the final reveal for the full creation on this charcuterie board. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. And I kind of wish I had different handles, because the handles do interfere with the creation. But because these handles are so big and this board is not quite long enough, I can't get them on the edges. So just to explain that the size was a problem for me. So on the top, it works just perfectly fine. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. At the end, I'm going to link a playlist for other charcuterie boards and wood boards. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell and all. You'll get all my latest art tutorials. Just to point out here, how do you like that edge? I really like the way that paint skin folds over the edge. Yeah. So here I'm going to go to the other side and show you the final result over here. And Also, if you would like to leave a comment, I get back to everybody. Please leave comments, and a thumbs up is also greatly appreciated. That helps YouTube with my algorithm, and hopefully it'll get more views out there. So I think with that, that's about all. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And with that, I'm going to sign off and take care. Till next time.